Sorry about that. What is up, you guys? It's the Fallout with here, and today I'm going to do the what if Deku had some symbiotes. Now, where we last left off was, well, technically some filler, but it was mostly how he met Kirishima and Kaminari, and the new, the new bonds that he's made. And Deku, he's already gotten into a lot of fights, and not only that, his two, technically, Momo and Jiro, they've already, started to, get used to the fighting. And what do I mean by that? Well, you see, Deku has already told them, we're gonna fight these people. And you're gonna have to fight them too, because they're gonna be, trying to hit on you and stuff. But there's a couple of students that took an eye on him. And out of, let's say, 7 students that actually had their eye on them, 6 already lost to Deku, because they don't know too much about symbiotes. But the 7th one does. And his name is Yoshi. Now, Yoshi is a made-up character, but he is somebody who's seen Deku in action before. He's always told somebody that if they're going to be fighting, if somebody fights him, and you happen to be there, make sure you let me know. Always check on him. And Deku doesn't know this stuff because, well, he doesn't, look behind his back all the time. But once people found out that this kid has 2 symbiotes on him, and they are very strong, and they have their own strengths and weaknesses, not a lot of people know about fire and sound being, a major screw-over for Deku. But Yoshi knew already. Because he's already studied up on him. And the fact that he now knows that there's symbiotes in the way, yeah, he's going to be, going through his own trials and tribulations. So, Yoshi decides to ask a lot of students that are willing to beat Deku up, willing to fight, and actually tells them that he now knows his weakness. And he tells everybody that is going to be fighting that we are going to show this kid that he is not tough. We're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to show how truly weak he is. And this guy isn't just an ordinary crook. He's actually one of the top strongest students, number 1 to be exact. Now, Deku doesn't know his abilities, which it's technically alright. So he basically has strength, speed, and enhanced power. Enhanced strength, I said strength. Basically, everything about him is enhanced to 50% of the normal human body. And Deku doesn't know anything about this. It's basically 30% full cowling right there, if I'm being serious. So Deku has somebody who's not a pushover. But he's a tactician, meaning he's going to do everything in his power to fight Deku. And basically, somebody shoots a gun, not a real one, but a fake gun, and starts shooting it at Deku. At one point, Deku saw this person, and basically, he didn't take it lightly. He ran towards him and started running, saying, this kid is going to make sure, this kid's going to, you know, get what's coming to him. Because Deku has a new attitude now. He's different. Way more different. He's the same, but he's like 2.0 Deku if he was truly dark. He starts running towards the guy and actually shoots a webbing out of his hands towards the guy's legs. Now, he has an ability that basically makes him see what's behind him. Like, he has 360 vision. So, nobody can actually, like, grab him from behind or anything like that. So, when this guy knew that, you know, Deku was coming, he actually led him to the band hall. And Deku was by himself. He doesn't have anybody, you know, with him. And Deku just sees like a dark room, but he knows that there's people around him. And then he starts thinking to himself, oh, it's just another ambush. Well, it's not a big deal, I guess, but you really should have, you know, you should know who I am. I'm somebody who can, you know, take down all of you. But I want you to come at me. And this is when Yoshi decides to talk to him face to face. And he says, oh, look at that. Well, it isn't the man with the symbiotes. Hello, how are you doing? My name is Yoshi. He's actually being nonchalant about this, so after that he explains that, you know, I'm actually curious and to see how strong you are. And Deku says, what brought this up? And this made the guy, Yoshi, say, you see, after all the fights, after everything that's happened, you haven't fell down once. Which gets me excited, because I never have a match where my life is on the line, or your life is on the line. I want to see how strong you are. So, you know, fight me. I'll make sure that, you know, you fall down to the ground in a matter of moments. And Deku just thinks to himself, you really want to fight me? And this is when Deku says, alright. And while saying that, he says, excellent. And he says, but give me a second here. And he just moves around, and he looks at the guy. Well, he looks at Yoshi, and Yoshi basically snaps his fingers, and he says, turn it on, boys. And this is when Deku just starts hearing a little static in the air. Well, it's static everywhere, to be honest. And he sees the man. Well, he sees, what is it called? He sees Deku looking around, and Deku sees like everything around him, and he starts to notice that this is a band hall where sound and music and everything loud and eerie and well, technically very dangerous to a symbiote is. So this is when he says, oh, you son of a... And Deku gets blasted with a bunch of noise from back of him. And this is when he yells out in pain. The symbiotes are basically thinking to themselves, are we being attacked? By who? And this is when Deku says, oh, why don't you both wake up? and smacks his chest. And well, the symbiotes gave Deku the webbing power, if you guys are curious about that. But anyway, Deku says, "We're not alone." And now they're blasting us with music. Now that they're tied to Deku, they are now, they are now screwed. Well, the fact that noise is going to be hitting them. And Deku says, "Why don't you fight me like a man?" And Yoshi says, "I would love to fight you like a man. But the thing is, I know that you're very strong. I know that you cannot be defeated so easily. So why would I put myself at a disadvantage?" And Deku says, "Even so, you knew that this would happen. Not only that, you're fighting, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Yoshi says, "Shut up." And he snaps his fingers again. And this is when he starts hearing that eerie sound and he just starts shaking. And this is when the symbiotes actually start to feel the full effects, since they're technically awake. And Deku is on the ground. He's actually trying to cover his ear, but his other ear is not being covered. The symbiotes would try to deafen the sound, but they're actually being hurt too. Deku's on the ground panting, and he's in pain. And this is when they're like, "Oh, you didn't think that this was over, did you?" This is when he says, "Hey, show the fireworks, people." And basically, people start grabbing Molotovs. One by one, they start throwing lit Molotovs on the ground, covering all areas, including the area of, like, how do I say it? They basically cover everything around him, meaning that if he tries to jump over the fire, he's going to be hit by a lot of sound. And if he tries to, try to go anywhere near the students that, are fighting Deku, they're basically, the fire is just like an insurance policy. So now nothing could actually happen. And Deku just starts trying to shoot out gas, saying, "You didn't think I have a plan for this?" And he starts shooting gas up in the air. But the moment he tries to do anything, he hears that noise again. And basically, the symbiote can't concentrate enough to do a thing. Caustic says, "I'm sorry, but with that noise being on, I really can't do anything." And Deku says, "It's alright. We're going to get through this somehow. I just wish that somebody was here to help me." And this is when Deku just starts getting hit with that sound again. But somebody with water just starts shooting water around the floor. And Deku says, "Why are you doing this?" And he says, "Well, the thing is, if you want to hear my true opinion, it's the fact that people have been calling you the strongest. And I know I'm no match against somebody with your power. If it was to be 100% fighting, pure physical strength, you would probably win. Maybe. Because even I have strength superior to yours." And this is when Deku just starts, saying, like, "You chose the coward's way out. And you decided to ambush me. All because you think that I'm going to allow this?" And this is when Deku starts saying, "Alright." And starts trying to shoot a web, but he can't even do that either. Meaning Deku is pretty much screwed. So he just starts, trying to run and trying to, push through the fire. But the sound just starts hitting him again. And almost falling down towards the fire, Deku just immediately gets back up and starts staying in the circle. Now, Deku is pretty much tired because the noise is starting to, truly take effect with him. He starts, having double vision, and he starts, going limp. The fire is not doing anything, the fire is not doing him any, favors either. So, when Deku, how do I say this? When Deku decides to, press a button, the button basically starts making a weird signal. And people are thinking to themselves, what is this? What am I hearing? And this is when it's like a basic, red beeper. That beeper just starts, signaling to people that are, there, or his people, his crew, Kirishima and all that. Basically, Momo installed this thing so that way anybody who shoots that button will have full access to find the other ones. Not only that, it's technically big and bright. Well, that's not big and bright. It's small, but it's very bright. So, what is the word? After that, Momo and the others start to try to find where it's at, and they find it's near, what is it called? Sheesh, I forgot the word. It's near the band hall. And they start running towards it. And basically, Yoshi decides, hey, some of you go outside and make sure that nobody can enter. And as for you, this is when Deku sees that the fire's, gone. Fully gone, because, a whole bottle of alcohol is spreading around. So basically, Deku has to just keep moving away while being blasted by sound. So, when this happens, Deku is wondering, what are you doing? And this is when Yoshi says, I'm going to play a game with you. If you can fight me and win, then I'll let you, I'll let you, get out of here. Not only that, you get to be the number one. And Deku says, and what happens if I refuse? And this is when all of them start to turn on their speakers. And he says, you're going to feel something so bad that it might kill your symbiotes. And Deku says, you would kill someone? And this is when Deku says, they're not someone, they're something. Remember, they may be, how should I say it? They may be alive, but they're not human. And as far as I know, I don't have to worry about that. And Deku gets very upset, and he says, bring it. And these two start fighting. Deku just punches him, but he doesn't feel a thing. This is when he kicks him in the gut and grabs him and shoots him down on the ground while in midair. This is when he starts to use his symbiote form and basically use his gas. But this is when one of the guys starts shooting the sound thing, or technically shoots down the shoots speaker phone, and basically the sound hits Deku, and yeah. So in other terms, he has to fight with a handicap, even worse. Even more worse because it's a weakness to symbiotes. So while doing all that, Deku has to keep, using his actual strength, which isn't even compared to Yoshi's at all. So he has to just rely on his senses and just move away from his punches. But the fact is, he's very fast without his symbiotes. No, he's fast, and Deku's trying to, trying to catch on to him, but because of Deku, and give me a second here. So, anyway. So, basically Yoshi's having the upper hand right here. And he starts to beat down on Deku while the sound is on, meaning his hearing is basically hurting him a lot to where his ears are actually bleeding out. And the reason why, because as far as I remember, it hurts the symbiotes, and since they're connected, it will hurt Deku as well. So two are basically getting hurt, and Deku is getting beaten down, or technically just getting pummeled a lot. And Deku is trying to, land a punch or something, but because of, sorry about that. Because of Deku not being able to get up or use his actual strength, or his, symbiotes, or even his quirk at the very least, it's nothing more than just Deku, it's more of a one-sided fight that basically led to Deku's downfall, or at least his downfall. But now that he's trying to get back up and trying to look at the guy that basically keeps doing this to him, he's just he actually gives him a punch, and he thinks it could have done something, but all it does is, technically it just hurts him. It hurts Deku because he put everything to that punch, but this guy's his strength and all that stuff, not only that, the fact that he didn't flinch just meant that he's not even able to put up a fight and even hurt him without hurting himself. So now Deku is just, being picked up and slammed into the wall, causing him to, get indented. And Deku is basically getting mad, and he grabs a stick and slams it onto the guy's face. And this is when basically they start hearing stuff from the outside. They keep hearing noises, people getting punched, hit, and all you just hear is like electrical crackling in the air. And Deku says, "Well, aren't you shit out of luck?" And this is when Yoshi says, "What do you mean?" And a kaboom is already, shot at by the, door. And this is when Momo says, "Alright, you guys, everybody, you stop hurting Deku right now." And they're like, "It's just a girl." And this is when she says, "Yes, so?" Everybody starts laughing, and Deku says, "Wrong person to laugh at." Yoshi says, "Did you say something?" And this is when basically all they see is a cannon. And they're like, "Wait, a cannon? But who is she?" And this is when she says, "I'm Momo Yaoyorozu. And bitches love cannons." Oh boy. So, if you got that one, you guys are pretty cool. So, she basically shoots it and hits she hits the stadium where the students were at. And basically Deku is just Deku's just completely flabbergasted, because everybody that had the speakers on one side, basically all of it broke, and Jiro decides to help out. And this is when the guy runs towards her, this is when Yoshi decides to try to run towards her and says, "You are not going to, break away my fun." And this is when somebody gets hit instead of Jiro, which is Kirishima, and he says, I've been hit so many times by somebody way stronger than you. Do you think you have a chance against him if he was at his full form? And this is when Deku starts to say, hey, you two, I understand you're weakened, but I need your strength. Lend me your power. And this is when they basically start showing their real face. And they're all like, I want to have a piece of him. And this is when Caustic says, no, it should be me. And this is when Revenant says, I had more, I took the pain more. And this is when Caustic, basically this is a back and forth, like, I took the pain, but I did too. I was like, so what? I'm better than you. So, yeah. Now they're fighting, and Deku says, it doesn't matter who it is right now, just pick one, and let's start getting this show on the road. And this is when they're basically choosing Revenant. And Revenant, well, technically his form, he's angry at him. And this is when Yoshi looks behind him and he sees a freaking reddish beast about to slam his fist to the freaking face of Yoshi. But Yoshi jumps backwards at the nick of time. And this is when Yoshi's like, so, this is the symbiotes. What a fearful face that you have. It doesn't mean you're going to win at all, because I still have sound on my hand, and basically the sound is about to hit Deku, but Deku just shoots out a freaking web and pulls it, causing one of the machines to fall. It still hits, the sound hits Deku still, but he at least took one of their sounds away, so there's a few less now than there was before Deku was fighting. Well, before Deku, pressed the button. Now, Deku, it starts to, feel like it's tearing through Deku, hold on here. He feels like the sound is ripping through Deku and freaking Revenant. And Deku is trying so hard to pull himself together. But this is when Momo puts a freaking rubber blanket on him. And this is when the sounds are muffled. And Deku is basically saying, Momo, is that you? And she says, yes, it's me. It's a good thing that I came here. Glad that you were listening to me, huh? And Deku says, don't you get snippy with me. And she says, I told you to press the button, and you said, oh, no. We're not going, there's no point in that. I will become the strongest. And now look at you. This is what happens when you don't listen to me. And Deku says, oh, you're technically right, but I could have still handled this by myself. And this is when Kaminari starts shooting lightning bolts everywhere towards the freaking, what is it called again? Sheesh. Man, I forgot the speakers. That's what I was trying to talk about. But anyway, he hits the speakers, and while hitting the speakers, it's basically malfunctioning, causing the power outage to go in, and causing basically a few light bulbs to shine through. And this is when Deku says, Momo, get in here. And this is when Deku starts making a plan. While this is happening, Kirishima basically is on the ground, while Yoshi is done beating him. He says, you weren't so tough after all. I fought people before you, and they were much stronger than this. What makes you think that a pathetic person with such a weak and dull quirk could do to me. And this is when he just realizes that there's no sound other than his voice. And this is when he sees a blanket that has a couple of people inside of it. And he says, "You think you're going to hide behind rubber or whatever material that is?" And he basically slams the ground. This is when Kirishima is technically scared because he doesn't know what happened. But while punching it, he says, "You really think," and just basically, "You could destroy me, you pathetic humans." And he has a god complex where everybody around him is not superior to him. Anybody can listen to him whether they like it or not. He may be tactical, and he may have a lot of like good points on him. But the thing is, he was too arrogant, and that's what's gonna cost him. As the moment he's basically done pounding the ground, he just gets a punch to the face, hitting him. And this is when he says, "I thought, but you were, how?" And Deku says, "We are not the kind of we are not the kind of people to just stay in one place." And Deku just says, "We are much stronger than that. We're gonna fight you head on without having you, cheat anymore." And this is when Yoshi says, "Cheating? Do you really think I'm going to hear you say that after looking at everything that you have on you? You have your own quirk, your own symbiotes, your own crew as well, right here around you. And I'm by myself. Do you really think I would survive a cheating fight like this?" And this is when he says, "All right then, Momo, I need a pipe." And she says, "Wait, what do you mean a pipe?" And Deku says, "I need a lead pipe." And Deku starts, grabbing the pipe. That was funny. He grabs a lead pipe, and he starts, swinging it around. And he says, "This will do just nicely." While that's happening, Yoshi just says, "You want to go at it? Fine. Use your symbiotes for all I care. It doesn't matter." And Deku absorbs the pipe. And he basically just starts running towards Yoshi, and these two punch each other, causing both of them to be pushed back a little bit. And not only that, they're actually just punching each other again and again. More like a fist fight. But this is when Deku grabs his face, and he says, "Well, that's enough fair fighting for now." And he starts shooting gas inside freaking Yoshi. And everybody looks away because they know that it's going to be disgusting. And this is when Yoshi says, "But I'm the strongest. This is unfair." And Deku says, "The one thing that I could have let you lived on was the fact that you fought me by yourself. But now, it's different. You fought me with different people in different classes, using tools that were meant to weaken me, fire to destroy me, sound to make me lose concentration, and to wither in pain. Do you really think that you have oh gosh, you think you deserve fairness after all the crap you pulled right now?" And this is when Deku just slams his fist onto Yoshi, and causing the air to start, go out again. But it's green gas, white gas, and this is when he starts, coughing up so much blood. and Deku just bites him and basically eats the crap out of it. He eats him. And the reason why he's doing this is because, well, anybody who's that evil to do that to him doesn't get a second chance. And plus, they're no longer the symbiotes that are heroic. They're going to be doing their own thing now. And Deku basically has other students running towards him because they found out that Yoshi was technically, hurt. But Yoshi is still fine. It's not Yoshi that died. If you guys don't know what I'm trying to say, is that he went inside freaking Deku went inside Yoshi's subconscious and had his symbiotes eat him. And Deku sees that Yoshi is scared. But, on the other note, they're all trying to charge at Deku, trying to hit him, but Deku just says, "You're going to lose either way, and I suggest all of you leave." And they start just attacking Deku, but Deku starts shooting out gas now, and start striking, punching, kicking, all of them. Deku knows that they're not going to listen to him, so why not just give them their own medicine? The people that basically screwed him over on that fight deserves nothing more than an ass whooping. So, after pretty much 15 minutes of people on the ground in pain, he picks up Yoshi and says, "If you ever come near me, my friends, if you even think about it, I will eat you, and I will torture your mind before I do that. It doesn't matter to me how long, how thorough your plan is, because even if I'm the villain, even if I'm the hero, I will personally kill you myself. Now you should leave, and we should do the same too." And this is when basically Deku finds out that the cops are called, so they gotta run away, scrub all evidence of this happening. Even though Deku knows that, there's nobody's going to believe Deku to be the one to hurt them. Except for some teachers and all that stuff. They know Deku a little too well now. Give me a second here, people. So anyway, Deku wins, and they have to leave. Now, a lot of people found out about this, and Deku being the new strongest person, well, the new strongest delinquent, knowing that now he's actually very strong, a lot of people will want to fight him, and Deku would have more further, fights from now on. But Deku realizes that he's no longer able to fight anybody who's, strong, because by all technicalities, he's been doing that the entire time. Now, Deku has been doing his studies, and not only that, keeping track on what he had to do, and as well as, taking care of the girls. And Kirishima and Kaminari have been, keeping up to their studies as much as they could. But the time has now come. It becomes 8th grade year, and we get to the whole point where Deku actually fights, not to fight. He and 5 other students try to go to class 1, are going to, do the whole, not college thing. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to remember, people. Oh yeah, they're going to UA High. And Deku says, "Alright, so now I got the official, qualification going that I can go now. And Deku, goes to the hospital after school, but he doesn't even run into the sludge villain. And actually, because of that, nobody actually gets hurt in the whole MHA thing, where Bakugo has to fight the sludge villain after that. So it's pretty much peaceful. To be honest, I just decided not to do this the sludge villain thing because it's been overused so much. I'll use it occasionally though. Oh, and if you guys didn't understand what I meant by Yoshi, which is, just a made-up character, but he was basically somebody who tried to use planning for Deku, but because of Deku and being, at odds with, technically being an oddball, it just meant that he was more unpredictable, and that's what actually got him the win. Besides the fact that he had symbiotes in his hand. So anyway, he talks to his parents, and his parents are actually happy for him. And they've been wondering how Deku was doing because they don't usually talk to him all the time. So every now and then they basically are happy with, them being okay or happy that he's okay. Let's see. Deku does feel sad though that he can't do anything to help his siblings, but Hisashi has managed to find that there is two symbiotes that are willing to help them out. Now, while that's done, Deku is starting to go with his friends, and they actually meet a little child, and they don't know why. Why are they meeting him? Why are they meeting such a little baby chick? And this little girl has a horn with white hair, and Deku sees this on his way home, and he decides to help her out. But this is where I'm going to leave this part off here. I'm going to try to at least do a video today, probably around 5 o'clock. And if you guys liked it, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. I know this was a weird, short, video, but that is because I try to do something every day, but I know that I can't just keep doing it every day. And even try to do one video without having somebody call me to work. It becomes a pain. It truly does, and I am sorry about that, people. But hopefully you guys forgive me. But anyway, I'm going to do the God of War thing next, and then after that's when I start to do the freaking what if Deku was the reincarnation of Naruto. And some part I'm probably going to delete, or going to just, not delete. I'm going to still do it. Now anyway. If you guys liked it, like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout with the Fear. Bye.